In places like the US, people will say, "How are you?" But nobody wants to know how you are. Just kind of like a polite thing to say.
What are the things that you find like, difficult?
I think in a good way. Let me think about that. I think.
You can think a good way.
So this is Wayne's very sweet way of saying, as a fat guy, how do you find clothes in the Philippines? So, so.
Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It's Wang, and today I am with John, my friend John. John, please introduce more yourself to our viewers.
Sure. How's it going, guys? My name is John. I'm a expat living in the Philippines for about 4 years now.
Wow, really? Oh my God, how you survive?
The time's gone quick. I lost all my hair. No, that happened before I got here. So.
And today we're going to talk about the big transition
Sure.
to the Philippines. So since you are living from California, right?
That's
or
right.
Most of the time. So which country have you traveled?
Sure.
Yes.
So I've been to a number of countries.
Yes.
Mexico is very near me. So I've been to Mexico, Jamaica, South Korea, Thailand,
Yes.
Singapore, China, Macau, Hong Kong. Number of different countries.
Okay, a lot. And so today we're going to talk about the transition, why you prepare Philippines to live in here from your country.
Sure. So for me, I actually didn't initially plan on moving to the Philippines. Kind of
Yes.
happened, I won't say accidentally, but just with life circumstances. So
Yes.
I initially came to the Philippines really just to start up a back office for my business in California.
Yes.
So I was planning on hiring manager, HR, project managers to see things here. And then I thought maybe I would just come here once or twice a year to meet with the team. But really, from the first time that I came from the Philippines, I didn't want to go back to the US. Yeah.
Okay. What are the reasons why you kind of okay, I'm gonna live in Philippines from now?
Yeah, for me, it really is just about the people. I really felt like I had come to a parallel universe where everybody was just very kind and respectful and really a joy to be around. So it just really felt like a very different culture than I'd experienced before.
Yes.
And so I really just started working from my first trip here to figure out how I could wind up living here full time.
So okay, what are the things that you like Philippines more than that you weren't able to found in your country?
Sure. For me, it really, I think, is how people talk to each other. So in the Philippines, if you connect with somebody that you haven't even met, or, if people are sending a chat message to each other, people will really take time to give you a greeting and really want to connect with you on a personal level to see how you're doing. In places like the US, people will say, "How are you?" But nobody wants to know how you are. Just kind of like a polite thing to say. Whereas here, I really find, even if you're sending a message to a business in a chat, people will really take the time to greet you and to connect with you on a personal level. And I just find here that's with everything in life. People are so very respectful and really take the time to build relationships with each other. And so that's really the number one thing that really stands out to me that I haven't been able to find in the US or really any Western country that I visited, is just the really polite, kind, thoughtful, interaction that people have with each other.
Okay, so what are the things that you find, kind of different, or I gonna say struggle as a Western you are from the West. I mean, now you are in Philippines. What are the things that you find difficult?
Sure. So I gotta say, when I first came here, I didn't see anything difficult.
Yes.
And that's because I just really kind of had, like they say, rose-colored glasses on. Everything looked perfect. But now that I live here more, I think the things I struggle with is just really lack of efficiency. Everything takes a lot longer.
Yes.
Things are out of stock a lot, or they take a long time. Just if you're going to stand in line at a bank or a grocery market, everything takes, multiple times more. Sometimes the driving over here is a little bit
Yes.
crazy as well. So for me, the things that I really love are the relational side of things, and the things that are a bit of a struggle are more the efficiency kind of
So,
things.
okay, what is the most like, uh, unforgettable experience as a foreigner
Hmm.
being here in the Philippines? Like you kind of like, oh
Sure.
my God, this shocks me like, yeah, kind of like I.
Sure. So shocks me in a bad way or a good way?
First say it in a good way and a bad way.
Yeah. So I think in a good way. Let me think about that. I think.
You can think a good way. I mean.
Well, I just don't want to repeat myself. Really, what was truly, honestly shocking is just how sweet people are with
Yes.
each other. So
Okay.
that's shocking in a good way.
Mhm.
But I think when you come from a country where things are very polarized, and
Mm.
you really have to watch what you say to make sure you
Yes.
say it the right way, and you just have to be very politically correct. And I'm not saying that there's necessarily anything wrong with that,
Mm.
but it's just exhausting to
Yeah.
always feel like there's like an attorney that's scrutinizing every word that you say. So, I guess it was shocking to not have to live like that
Yes.
anymore, to just, know that people generally mean well,
Mm.
and they're not saying anything, harmful. They're just kind of saying what they think. And,
Yes.
people here, it's kind of like maybe the US. If you were
Mm.
to go back like in the 70s, or, to just a very different time where people interacted with each other, I think, a lot more respectfully.
What is that saying from West that you
Hmm.
kind of like don't mess or you mess?
Sure, sure. Well, I think from the West, I definitely don't miss like the politics
Oh
and
yeah.
the polarization, and how quick people are to get angry. So that's something else really different here. Is I can't ever remember
Hmm.
hearing people shout at each other in public, or people getting really mad because maybe you cut in front of them in a line, or people are just really relaxed here. But what do you think? I mean, do you hear people shouting at each other here regularly, or what's your
I know.
experience?
I think some other it's often happen in a behind closed doors or
Sure,
something like that. But yes, how about the simple things? How about the foods? Talk about the
sure,
how you adjust the foods and stuff like that. Because
yeah,
obviously in Western, different foods, different restaurants you have many in there. How
yeah,
about that kind?
yeah.
A part.
So
I mean, how about that part?
sure. So I hate to be unkind, but out of everything I love in the Philippines, probably the number one thing that I don't love is the food. Sorry, Filipinos. But I just, it's not really my style of food. So
Yes.
definitely, one of the things about living in a lot of Western
Mm.
countries is that they're very multicultural, where I
Yes.
think in the Philippines it's pretty monocultural. Like,
Yes.
there's not that many people from different countries. Most people are Filipinos. If you're a foreigner, they call you a foreigner. Like, so if you were to move to the US, people would just think of you as one of us,
Oh.
so it's different. And so there's just so many different varieties of foods there. And so certainly I miss the food in the US.
So how you kind of like here in Philippines, you are kind of standing out from the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You are unlike in your country. You're kind of like a blended.
Sure.
Here, people we're gonna look at you. Oh, he's a foreigner.
Yeah.
I mean, how you deal with that? Kind of. I mean, people here will say, "Oh, foreigner are rich," like kind
Sure.
of like guys.
Sure, sure. I mean, for me, I don't take myself seriously. So even if people look at me like they're a foreigner, I'm not ever taking myself seriously. I'm just
Yes.
another guy. And I really understand that maybe people's perception of me is a little bit different as a foreigner.
Yeah.
But I think once people get to know me, they just see,
Yes.
he's just another normal person. So I'm really comfortable with that. I could tell sometimes that people will feel shy around foreigners.
Mm.
So I never want people to feel uncomfortable around me, but it's just part of the culture here. I think people are a little bit more shy with foreigners.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about the clothes that you like in there? How
Hmm.
you so you still able to, like, because most of my subscribers, your viewers as well in your
Mhm.
channel, like, uh you want to move in here, and I've heard a couple of times they said, like, it's hard to find your own size. You're
Yeah,
like this brand you used to wear
sure,
in your country.
sure.
So it's easy for you. How you deal with that stuff? It's
Yeah.
easy for you to find them.
So this is Wang's very sweet way of saying, as a fat guy, how do you find clothes in the Philippines? So, so I'll give honest answer there.
Not that way.
Because Wang is too
Size.
sweet to just put it that way. But
Oh my
so
God! They're
I
gonna say
find
I'm a bully in here.
she's a little bit of a bully, guys. You think she's sweet and innocent, but I can read
You
between the
know
lines.
it. The brand in there.
I'm totally joking. I'm totally
Okay,
joking.
okay.
So, in terms of, like, for me, I wear double extra large kind of stuff.
Okay, is that normally service?
It is. I'll show you the tag later. But actually, a double extra large American size is like a 5XL Filipino size.
Really?
That's just really the truth.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's different.
So
So
how you do it? How you deal with it?
so there's some places like SM that has bigger sizes, kind of stuff like that.
Mm.
Or I just order on Amazon, So like
Okay.
Amazon US, if you spend like $49, or see, she didn't want me to bring out the truth about that question. So yeah, I at least know for Amazon US, if you
Okay.
spend like $49
I don't think it's
or
bad,
more,
because
it's free
here-
shipping.
Okay, for sure. Now
Yeah.
we're promoting Amazon.
Amazon, give Wang a kickback for the free promo.
I mean, we're talking here the transition of your life from
Sure.
West and to the Philippines. So,
Yeah.
what are the main, like, what is the struggle of being, like, I know you like it in here, but
I do.
there
Yeah.
would be like a thing that you kind of like, you used to it, but you can't have here in Philippines.
Yeah, so I think definitely the efficiency type of stuff that I mentioned. I also own a couple of businesses here, and
Yes.
so probably from day to day, what's hardest for me is dealing with the difference in work culture.
Mm.
Uh, Everything's really different, and so the way that I led and managed in the U.S. Really backfired here. So I find that I need a lot more accountability systems and
Yes.
things like that here compared to living in a Western country. So that's, honestly, probably not what a lot of foreigners deal with here, because a lot of people come here retired, or the last thing they would want to do is start a business. But, for me, work culture here has been a big adjustment.
Yes.
Definitely just understanding how people think. So on the surface, everything appears straightforward, but
Yes.
underneath the surface, everything is really different. So I even find, say things like tampo or something like that. In
Yes.
relationships, maybe one person is going to, not be quick to communicate.
Yes.
I'm not saying that everybody's like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But I think, if you're a foreigner guy here,
Yes.
you're going to kind of say, what's going on there? It'll be confusing. And so you really just need to take time, I think, here, really understanding how people deal with conflict or difference of opinion, things like that.
So, okay, speaking of tampo, since you brought him in here in this conversation,
Whoops.
how
I'm
you
gonna be
deal
I'm
with
gonna
it?
be tempo after that fat comment that Wang made. That's right. How do I
you
deal with it?
when the Filipina get tampo?
Yeah, so I think for me, it's just really, trying to communicate and, realizing that even in the West, sometimes people need a bit of space to
Yes.
process things, and they're not going to be able to process things and talk about it right away.
Mm.
Other people they want to talk,
Right
in the
away.
West, other people want to argue
Yes.
right away. So, I think part of it is just trying to learn to be more patient here.
Yes.
I used to think I was a patient person till I moved to the Philippines, and I realized that I'm American patient, but I'm
Yeah.
Filipino impatient. So I have to change myself living here. I'm the foreigner here. I'm the guest living here. So, I think part of it is just a learning experience of how I
Yes.
need to change myself to fit in the culture.
Yes, okay. As you mentioned, you got a business in here, right,
Sure.
John? So, how it's hard for a foreigner like you having a business here in Philippines. How
Sure.
much, how long, and how it takes for you to be able to run a business here?
Yeah, so in 2019, at the beginning, I started incorporating what they call a one-person corporation here. So that's just a newer type of corporation in the
Mm.
Philippines where a foreigner could own it 100%. So it
Yes.
was coming back a few times in 2019,
Mm.
setting it up, getting employees,
Mm.
but really getting started,
Mm.
since
Mm.
2019. And I think forming the business, hiring employees, that was the simple part. Learning
Yes.
work culture and stuff like that, I'm still learning. So
You
I feel
still,
like I've learned a lot,
yeah.
but I really have to keep learning. And I think that's part of just being a foreigner in another culture. I lived in
Yes.
Australia for 10 years before as well, and I felt like it took me 5 years to start to see things a little bit through like an
Yes.
Australian perspective.
Mm.
And it's same thing in the Philippines. It just
Yeah.
takes time to
Yes.
really understand how people think, how things are done, stuff like
Yes.
that.
So, in general advice, what you can advise to the foreigners that
Hmm.
want to live here in Philippines, want to do a business here in Philippines, what is the best advice you can give to them?
Sure. I would just say take time to observe,
Mm.
try to put your opinions in your pocket and just really observe how things are done. A lot of foreigners, if someone came from another country and they didn't speak the language
Mm.
or they didn't understand the culture, most foreigners from places like the US would say, you should learn to speak English, you should learn the culture, these
Mm.
things. But then a lot of the same foreigners come here, they don't learn the language, they don't
Yes.
try to fit in the culture. So, I would just say to foreigners, treat people here like you would expect, people from another country to treat you in your own,
Yes.
culture. Take time to try to understand some of the language, even if it's just a few words. I find people really appreciate it. And, just really observe how things are done. Try to be a
Mm.
student of the
Yes.
culture here instead of just a critic of the culture here. And I'd be a hypocrite if I, didn't say I have a hard time with that as well,
Yeah.
because there'll be things that you just have to adjust to and sometimes rub you the wrong way.
Yes.
But, I would just say with the culture and also with the business, don't jump into the first business that makes sense.
Mm.
So, because I, have a YouTube talking about business
Yes.
here, or people know that
Yeah.
I do that, sometimes people will get in touch and say, should I start this business or that business? So,
Yeah.
an example of that is someone reached out to me last night and said, I'm thinking about starting a laundromat.
Okay.
Not everybody has a washer dryer or maybe just a washer,
Mm.
so maybe it'd be a great business.
Mm.
But when you look into a business like that, you see like commercial washers and dryers cost a lot more than, in the US or somewhere like that, and people pay less per load of laundry. So
Yes.
it's very hard to make profit with a business
Yes.
like that. So take time to really get to know, just the business, how profitable it's likely to be, things like that.
So you mentioned about, some other foreigners visit to some other country and they try to learn the language,
Mhm.
and they like, and then became here in Philippines and they just don't want to put an effort in learning the language.
Yeah.
Why? What are the reason might be? You can think that why foreigners are doing that to the
Sure,
Philippines.
sure. I think here so many people speak English.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
probably why. So it feels
Yes.
like I don't have to learn that. If they
Yeah.
move to, China
Yeah.
or somewhere else, I think they would know they really have to learn the language.
Okay.
But here, so many people speak English so well
So
that,
yeah.
but I think when it comes down to it, it's exhausting
Yes.
sometimes for Filipinos to speak English because they just want to say things in Bisaya or Tagalog or whatever language they're from. So I think it's easy for foreigners to be lazy here learning the language because so many people speak good English.
Yes, okay. Yeah, it makes sense. It
Sure.
makes a good sense. And you mentioned about you got a YouTube channel, two YouTube channels,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
American Entrepreneur and California Expat. Can
Yeah.
you tell about what is the difference of that two channels?
Sure, sure.
Yes.
So I've had American entrepreneur in the Philippines for 3 years here, and really that's just me kind of chronicling life as a expat doing business in the Philippines. So I talk about running a business here, what's involved, successes, challenges. I'm pretty honest about all those type of things, and always happy to help out those that are considering starting a business here. California expat is me just being able to talk more about life in general. Over here, it's newer channel, just a couple months old. And so it's fun to not just be talking about business and just talk about life in general here.
Yes. So thank you so much, John,
My
for
pleasure.
the now. I hope like I don't offend you with that.
Not at all.
It's not really what I mean, but it comes out like that.
I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you, but she meant
That's
it.
what really what I meant.
I'm joking with you. I'm joking.
So, guys, I gonna put John's channel's name here down in the descriptions, and then thank you for watching, and God bless you all. Bye for now.